Good morning. Happy Friday. Welcome back to the Daily Grind. I'm your host, Chump Change. This is live and recorded. What we do here for anybody that might be new is basically go over crypto news. I update myself and I bring you guys along for the ride to make your lives easier. Let's see who's in the chat and then we'll get into this. Mr. All Set, good to see you, buddy. Broskies, thanks for being the first one here, man. Appreciate you. We have Lawnmower Man, Dumpster Fire in the house. Let's see who else is here. Carl Coat, Black Hat Team, Andrew Masad, Crypto Escort, Tim I Am Crypto. What's up, man? Will Wyman, my buddy. Good to see you. Good to see you. Mr. Overboard Tech, as always. Appreciate you, buddy. Appreciate you. You're gonna see some cats this morning at some point. We have, let's see, that's actually in one of the videos. They have two cats yelling at each other. It's hysterical. Blaine Anderson, good to see you, buddy. Nismo Miner, good morning. Good morning. Game with Smokey Dan, Carl Coat, Neomorphous, good morning. All right, let's get into this. I'm excited. I know you guys are excited. Somebody asked me to read the weather. It is raining money, as you guys can see. Bitcoin 47,374. Ethereum, Ethereum 2519. Man, I almost choked up on that one. Let's see, we have Solana. Solana at 105. Pretty good. Look at Kaspa. Where's Kaspa? Kaspa's ripping. 13.4. Do you guys think we're gonna see a new all-time high soon? What do you think? What do you think? We're gonna get into some other coins shortly, but ETC's on a rip. 26.65. Pretty nice. We have, what is this? WBTC. What is that? Wrap BTC? Weird. I don't think I've ever really noticed that one before. Dogecoin, 8 cents, a little over 8 cents. Nice, nice. Not too bad. All right, let's jump into crypto bubbles and see what we got over here. Biggest earner on the day is Rune. At least that's what it shows. 17.7. Excuse me, I swear I feel like I just inhaled insulation. If you guys don't know, I'm doing my studio on the other side of this wall and I feel like there's insulation in the air. This is awful. Anyways, this week, let's see. Look at this. DYM is up 64.4%. This is Dimension, ranked 62 at $7.63. We have Kaspa up 30.5% this week, up 7 ranks into 32nd spot, again at 13.5 just about cents. XMR has taken a beating from being delisted off of Binance, 26% down, ranked 41 now, $124. Jupiter took a beating too, 17.4% on the week, ranked 100, down 21 ranks at 51 cents. Anybody still holding the Jupiter? Did you guys jump out? Let me know in the chat. Time to bring back the master. Yeah, Overboard, seriously, you're not joking. It's this insulation is the worst to deal with ever. If you guys don't know, if you never used Rockwell insulation, it's terrible. It's so itchy. BTT BitTorrent looks like it is ranked 68th and it's at, yeah, I don't know, whatever price that is, up 31.2% on the day. All right, let's check out Fear and Greed Index. Looks like we are at 72. Again, over 75 is when I start really considering selling some stuff. So we're getting there. We are getting into the greedy territory. It's kind of crazy when things really start to rip like this, a deep green, the FOMO kicks in. Timmy jumps in. He's like, I gotta get some, gotta get me some. And guess what? He gets in and then he usually pulls back and then he jumps out, and that's when everything tanks. All right, let's see. Top 10 coins by coin market cap over on CoinGecko. We have Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tether, BNB, Solana, XRP, USDC, Lido Staked, Ether, Cardano, and Avalanche. Dogecoin still holding 11th place. We have Chainlink in 13th, Tron's in 12th. Let's see, Shiba in 19th if anybody cares. Litecoin in 20th. Scrolling down, we got 26th for Ethereum Classic, again up on the day to $26.41. Kaspa, it says 33rd place over here at 13.5 cents. It's been on a rip. It broke out of its triangle that it was actually putting in the other day. Let's see, like the past couple months. Let's go to let's go to the year. You can kind of see it's kind of like this will be like the pole, and then it was kind of like a flag shape, right? This is the breakout point, and I'm wondering if we're going to see another rip as high as this pole, and if we do, it's going to go up into the 20 cents, which would be amazing. That would be amazing. I wonder what Max Voltage thinks about that. Him and DJ have a little bet going on, and I think Max is going to lose miserably. Good morning. Sorry, I'm just reading the chat. Let's see. Game with Smokey Dan. What are you saying? No, I'm not reading that. You're a terrible human. Terrible. Patrick Murphy, what's up, buddy? Let's see. The global Cryptocurrency market cap today is 1.87 trillion, a 4.49% change in the last 24 hours, 75.87% change from 1 year ago. Look at you, Patrick Murphy, with the statistics. Love it. Good stuff, buddy. All right, let's move on to the mining segment because we have a lot of stuff to watch this morning. All right, you guys know I like to timestamp this, see what the most profitable miners in the market are. Currently, we have the IB Link BMKS Max. I don't know if anybody's actually got their hands on one of these, but this is the 11 terahash Kaspa miner, making $84.21 a day. It's nice to see the price start picking up on all these units. We have the WinMiner K9, $82.69 per day. That's the 10.3 terahash unit. I don't understand the whole price thing here. I don't get it. This one says 26.4, this one says 10.5. I'm not sure what's happening there, but I would say you're getting ripped off. Anyways, let's see the Ice River KS3 8 terahash unit, $62.70 a day. We have the KS3M 6 terahash unit making $44.62 a day. Again, this is all at 10 cents per kilowatt hour. After that cost, obviously this is the yield or profit rather. We have the Jasminer X16P 5.8 gigahash unit mining ETC and Zill's top of the charts, $17.53 a day, which is kind of weird. Why is that? That's down a bit. That's down a bit, even though ETC is pumping. Strange. Excuse me, I had to clear my throat. All right, we have the Ice River KS2 2 terahash unit, $14.71. The Super Scaler K10 still got a lithium on the top of the charts. Oh wait, hold on, hold the phone. I forgot to look at the lithium. Look at this. I forgot to show you guys this. A lithium just smashed its all-time high, which is amazing. Look at this. A few minutes ago, 36 minutes ago, $2.70 a lithium just hit. We also have its all-time low. Backwards Miner actually pointed out a good point. July 2023, this thing had its all-time low. Look at how high. It's up 47,333%. What? That's a big Hadouken. Perfect. Good to see you, Mr. DJ Mines. That's crazy. The lithium's on a fucking rip. This is awesome. What do you guys look at this? Look at this. That is insane. This thing rose from the dead out of nowhere. I hope it sustains. I hope it's sustainable. That's what I want in life, is that to actually hold price, because who knows what's gonna happen. Hawk right now. No, he'd be happier if it was Radiant, because he always shields Radiant for some reason. We're not sure why, but shout out to Mr. Hawk crypto mining over at Terra Hosting. We have the Ice River KS1 1 terahash unit, $7.36 a day. Wow, this is looking a little bit nicer now that Kaspa's starting to pump. We got the X16Q. You guys know I'm actually mining over to unMineable, getting Neoxa. And a quick update on that. Actually, you know what, I gotta do a video about that today. I'll do a little update on what I'm getting per day. It's about 20, I think it was about 20,000 Neoxa in 24 hours. So should get to my my 100,000 mark in 5 days, and then, you know, it'll be about 25 days before I get to that master node, the rest of my 500,000 that I need, which is pretty sick. So if you guys didn't know, Neox is on unMineable now. Feel free to get over there and do that. All right, let's see the L7. Where am I at? My L7, what's it making? Where's the 9050? I could be blind. Am I blind? What's happening? Where is my 9050? Whatever, we're just gonna go off the 9.5 gigahash, I guess. Right here, $4.23. Again, they should actually add Dogecoin next to this. It does merge mine Doge and Litecoin, but after 10 cents kilowatt hour, $4.23 roughly. All right, KS0 Pro. Ooh, actually, I got some news for you guys. Let's check it out. Ice River KS0 Pro. We're going to be giving this thing away at some point. I haven't decided how, but I'm going to give it away to my members. So any of you members in the chat, if you aren't a member, feel free to become one if you want. If not, no big deal, but I am going to be giving it away to one of you guys at some point. Shout out to my man BP, aka Big PP from Mr. Red Panda Mining's channel. So we'll be doing that. I might have to open it up and test it just to make sure it's all good before I do it. And if it's not, then I'll deal with the repercussions and I'll give you guys one of mine. We'll figure it out. But either way, let's get into this with the Ice River KS0. 72 cents. This is the original OG, and the one I'm giving away is a pro, so it's the 100 gigahash, which is pretty cool, right? All right, let's get into the GPUs of the day. Again, Nexilia NXL has been listed on the hashrate.no site. We have GPUs over here. Sorry, it's been listed on TradeOgre rather. They just have it on the site. All right, so Alethioum is on the top of the charts. I kind of want to swap all my stuff back over to Alethioum. Well, technically I am mining Alethioum actually over to unMineable for Neoxa, but nonetheless, Alethioum looks like the top of the charts. 4070 Ti, actually, this NXL coin is taking over. NXL, if you guys don't know, is a fork of Kaspa that has the word AI thrown into it somewhere. So yeah, I don't know. Ted said, yeah, test it for a couple days to pad your Neoxa even more. You know what? That's a good idea, Ted. You know what? Cheers. Just like Ice River, you will mine at the KS0 Pro before shipping it to the winner. Hopefully not. No, I won't do that. I will test it though to make sure it works, because I don't want to give you guys a broken unit and then you guys are pissed at me. that's how that's gonna go. Mr. Rud puts, shout out to you for the 249 super chat. I said, yes, I am a member. You sent it to Europe. I will send it wherever my members live. Yes, somebody will get it. I don't care where you live. I'll figure it out. I will cover the shipping. All right, looks like everything. AIPG is on the top of the charts with some of these coins. Some of the AMD cards, the the 170HX as well, the CMP card. We have Conflux and Radiant. Other than that, Cortex a little bit. Not too bad. Everything's pretty good, but I would stick to Alethioum. Alethioum's killing it. Again, if you guys didn't see, Alethioum's killing its all-time high as of right now. All right, we're gonna get into the news segment of things. Let's see. CNBC crypto world over here. Bitcoin breaks above 45,000, the highest level since the day after spot ETFs went live. Crypto world, CNBC television. Let's do it, guys. That like button, appreciate you for hanging out. Hate asking, but YouTube makes me. Oh god, why I unmuted this before I started. I did.
It's above $45,000 to its highest level in nearly a month. Crypto company Bakkt warns in an SEC filing that it might not be able to stay in business. And Kraken's managing director of the US breaks down how the introduction of spot Bitcoin ETFs impacts the crypto exchange.
Let's get it.
Welcome to CNBC's Crypto World. I'm Talia Kaplan. Crypto prices rising today, with Bitcoin breaking above $45,000 to its highest level since January 12th. That's the day after spot Bitcoin ETFs went live here in the US. Ether climbed more than 1%, crossing $2,400, and Cardano surged more than 8% to 52 cents, all as of noon Eastern. Bitcoin's move higher today came as shares of New York Community Bank extended losses. Worries about regional banks have worked in Bitcoin's favor since last year's regional banking crisis, when investors who lost confidence in the banks turned to crypto as a hedge against uncertainty. Traders also point out to CNBC that Bitcoin accumulation by large investors increased in the past 2 weeks. Okay, let's talk about the...
It is pretty, it's a fitting jacket for the market. Very green, a very green market.
Top stories. Terraform Labs co-founder Do Kwon won a second appeal yesterday against the Montenegro High Court's decision to uphold extradition requests from South Korea and the US. That's according to CoinDesk, which also reported that back in November, Do Kwon first won an appeal to overturn the High Court's decision in favor of those extradition requests. The next month, the same court decided that the requests held up. On Monday, we told you the former CFO of Terraform Labs, who was arrested in Montenegro with Do Kwon, was extradited to South Korea. Both South Korea and the US have asked for Kwon to be transferred to their jurisdictions to face criminal charges of the collapse of Terraform Labs back in 2022. Last month, a federal judge delayed the SEC's trial against Do Kwon and Terraform Labs to allow time for him to be extradited to the US so that he can attend. Next, Bakkt, a publicly traded crypto company, said that it might not be able to stay in business. In an SEC filing yesterday, Bakkt executives warned that the crypto custody and trading platform might not be able to continue as a going concern. The filing went on to say that the firm is currently unable to generate sustainable operating profit and sufficient cash flows, and determined that its future success will depend on its ability to raise capital. The company went on to write that if it can't get cash when needed, the platform might have to halt its current expansion programs, cut operating costs, and could even be forced to terminate operations altogether. Now, we reached out to Bakkt for comment, but didn't hear back right away. However, CoinDesk reported that a spokesperson said Bakkt is trying to sell up to $150 million of securities to help with the situation. Last, ransomware crypto payments surpassed $1 billion last year, hitting a record high after a drop in 2022. That's according to Chainalysis, which found that in 2023, ransomware actors stepped up their operations, targeting high-profile institutions and places like hospitals, schools, and government agencies. Chainalysis says some of the attacks were carried out by exploiting the file transfer software MoveIt, which impacted companies like British Airways and the BBC. According to the blockchain analysis firm, 2023 marks a major comeback for ransomware attacks, with a substantial increase in the scope and complexity of these exploits. The firm went on to warn that the overall trend line from 2019 to 2023 indicates that ransomware is an escalating problem.
Real quick, actually, in the chat, I was just reading it. Somebody said they were still waiting on their Hivemapper to arrive. Actually, inside their Discord, they have a whole thing saying that everybody that ordered between, like, I think it was like the end of December and, like, I don't know, maybe it was like November and December or end of December, they were going to be shipping them out this month. So they actually gave updates on when you guys should be receiving them. So go check out that if you did order a Hivemapper.
Right, for our main story, Crypto World's Tanea McKeel sat down with Tal Cohen, Kraken's managing director of the U.S., to discuss what the introduction of spot Bitcoin ETFs means for its business. He also weighs in on the state of exchanges amid a regulatory crackdown here in the U.S.
Welcome to Crypto World. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
I want to start with ETFs. It's been almost a month since we got the approval of spot Bitcoin ETFs and they began trading. We have talked about, and we still talk a lot about, what that means for Bitcoin and for the crypto space long term. From where you sit, what does it mean for you and for your business? Is this competitive ETFs or is it complementary?
I think that Bitcoin ETFs are a great step for the industry and for us as a company. For the industry, the ETF opens up the investment capability for people who are not in the crypto space, who do not want to open an account in a crypto exchange or do not want to own their own wallet, but they can do that through their equities broker and they can get into the crypto space. So it opens up the market to just about everyone that can invest in equities. For us as a business, this is also great because these funds, number one, they need to buy Bitcoin someplace, and they buy those at exchanges like ourselves, and that's good. The second thing is our mission is to increase the adoption of crypto around the world. And
real quick, I just put the Hivemapper Discord in the live chat. If you guys are interested, go join there and check out the announcements section. It might help you.
This is definitely a step that does that. And the third point is we have a subsidiary called CF Benchmarks, which creates the index for the ETFs, and our index powers 90% of the ETFs that have been launched. We've seen a very, very positive welcome to the ETFs in this world. Over $1.5 billion of net inflows. So a lot of money has left GBDC, the largest fund that holds Bitcoin. But if you look at net, there's over $1 billion that have come into this in less than a month. I think it's the most successful launch of ETFs. Highly anticipated. It's been in the waiting for a very long period of time. It needed to go through the courts, but it finally arrived, and we think it's great. We also think it's the beginning of additional ETFs. So there's discussion of derivatives of BTC. There's discussion of an ETH ETF later this year. So we think it's a great step for the industry and for us.
How does it help Kraken with its mission of increasing crypto adoption globally? Is it just a matter of getting people comfortable with Bitcoin through a wrapper like ETFs that is familiar to them to, maybe help them get to other crypto assets that they might buy on Kraken? Just explain that a little bit for me, how the ETFs help you with your mission.
It's exactly what you said, Tanaya. People can now access Bitcoin without going through all the complexities of owning a wallet or understanding what it means to actually own Bitcoin. I think it's a first very easy step to own the asset. Beyond that, the way that it's influencing globally, you asked, so other countries are looking at that as well. So Hong Kong is now likely to be the next country that offers Bitcoin ETFs. And we believe that once people get comfortable with the initial asset and they see the performance, they understand more about it, they'd like to learn more. It's just like owning your first share. right? Whatever that share was, after you owned your first share, it makes sense to look at other shares as well. So beyond Bitcoin to Ethereum and beyond Ethereum to other assets.
Speaking of Ethereum, I went to send some coin out of my Trust wallet into my Tangent wallet, and the gas fees yesterday were like, I think it was like $20 no matter what amount I sent. It was insane. So I got to see what they are at today. Does anybody know if the gas prices are crazy today too?
What is your read based on, given everything that's going on, and the company must have discussions in DC all the time. I know that there were two main pieces of legislation that a lot of people had been eyeing to see some progress on this year, the market structure piece, as well as the stablecoin legislation, which was, seen widely as the one that was most likely to get through this year. Do you still see that as a possibility, or have other priorities come into play?
We would love to see legislation, these pieces as well as other pieces of legislation. I think it's very hard to pass legislation through the houses at the moment. Also on this topic, not only on this topic. We work together with the industry to help promote legislation that will clarify, would give the clarity needed for companies like ourselves, but also the wider investing community and the tech space. And we are very as much as we can, we're active in supporting the cause. Again, this goes back to our mission. In order to increase adoption of crypto, you need to have the regulatory clarity.
I know Kraken has made some progress last year on its international expansion, particularly in Europe, and adding to its UK capabilities. Your focus is the US business, so I will come back to the international stuff in a second, but what are some of your priorities here in terms of growing the business that go a little bit beyond trading, given that the regulatory environment here is so much more hostile than in other jurisdictions? So, beyond the trading, which seems to be the focus of the SEC, how else are you able to grow the business? What are your plans for this year?
So we're looking at a few vectors. One, as of last year, we launched our first consumer campaign in the US and globally. So we're getting ourselves more known. Kraken up to now was focused head down on work last 12 years. It's it's a company that's been here almost since the beginning of crypto trading.
Real quick, how many of you guys in the chat use Kraken? I would like to know. I feel like I should start using them again. I used them a while ago when I first got into crypto, just because the whole leverage trading thing, and then I lost money and got out of it because I didn't know how to trade and I was a complete noob. So now I don't know. I might get back into it and do like 2x trades, but who knows? It's very risky, but I would like to know how many of you guys use it.
Always focusing on building the best customer experience, building the most robust platforms, and never on marketing. So that has started last year. And we're also working on building a few more products. We always develop products in-house, and hopefully we'll be launching some products later this year. We'll be sharing that with you as well.
Anything that you
So has anything changed over there for anybody that's using it? Like, do they still do, like, what is it, 1 to 5x, I think? I think 5x was like the max when I used it. But a lot of you guys are saying you used to use it, you don't use it anymore. Green Hash says, I love it. Kraken Pro, nice. Kraken off-ramps went away with SVB going down. Oh, really? So there's no off-ramps from Kraken anymore? That's strange. Interesting.
have learned from your efforts in the UK and Europe that apply here in the US?
There's, as you said, we do a lot of expansion, not only in the US, we apply for and we receive licenses. So we operate in many licensed jurisdictions, the US, Europe, Canada, Australia, and others. We received some licenses across Europe, a license in Spain, a license in Ireland, and we're in the process of obtaining more licenses, wherever regulation allows that, basically, because we believe in, again, find regulatory clarity in any jurisdiction, apply for a license, and operate.
Okay, that's all.
Well, shout out to them. Kraken, honestly, they're amazing. Their team, they actually try to like stop scammers and stuff. I forget the guy's name. I don't remember his name, but there was a video we watched where they actually went ahead and actually helped out. It was like Scammer something. Scammer Payback, is that the channel? That might be the channel. I don't know. I can't remember, but they ended up teaming up with him and catching these guys that were scamming people and like kind of tracing their accounts to find out where they were to freeze them. It was pretty awesome, right? So shout out to Kraken for being great. All right, this is a pretty long video. This is from Mr. Crypto Zombie. I don't know how far we're gonna get through it, but let's see what he's got to say over here. I do always value his opinion. Crypto Zombie is one of these guys that I've always listened to from like day one, and he's very just kind of I don't even know how to say it. He's like, you don't want to listen to anybody on the internet, right? But he's very like genuine with his thoughts, and he kind of just sits to the camera and speaks, right, and kind of goes over topics and things that are very important, and it's just a good outlook, at least in my opinion. You guys can go check out his channel, links down in the description below if you don't know who he is. But let's get into it. And Ovalboard, this is for you, by the way. And it's, what the hell is going on? Why is it not working? There we go. Let's unmute this. And Ovalboard, this is where you're gonna see your cats. Let's do it.
Yeah,
You're definitely over 50% with Bitcoin on any 4-year period of time you can pluck off the chart. You're exceeding 50% annualized.
yeah,
Right. So, and like any Bitcoin I buy, I'm buying it to hold it in excess of 4 years. I can tell you that. And so, yeah, for me, I'm just like, I look at it like hyperinflation's happening. It's happening in Bitcoin terms. The rest of the world's going to come to that realization because this train's not letting up. Like my expectations for 2024 by the end of 2024 is, I think it's going to be nuts.
Real quick, Mr. DJ Death Star in the chat, appreciate you, buddy, for being a member for a month. He said, thanks for being committed to doing the grind. One of the few left. When will you be doing some more GPU reviews of the new supers? So the Super TI, or the TI Super, however you're supposed to say it. I was going to record a video yesterday, but some things came up. I didn't have time, so I'm going to try to do it today and hopefully get it out this weekend if possible.
As to like what it does in terms of fiat currency.
This is Overboard Tech right here.
What's going on, guys?
I absolutely think cats are completely insane. Like, they're such assholes. They really are.
Guys, K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a wonderful day today. Now, I know I haven't been doing a lot of updates recently because, honestly, the price action really hasn't changed in the past 3 weeks. And, you know, if you've been watching the channel, it's been that sort of conflict between that level-headed technical analysis approach that we've been doing for over everybody's free, you know, basically from 18,000 as soon as we...
I went to type in the chat and it just jumped forward. Hold on. Let me...
And this is what's on everybody's mind is this time actually different, right? That's that conflict because we have the ETF. Now, as you guys may remember, we were extremely bullish throughout the year of 2023, you know, basically from 18,000 as soon as we broke that level up. A lot of bears, you know, calling for these lower, you know, 10K, 6K Bitcoin. Now, if we go back to the chart right here, you could see that once we essentially broke out of that area, you know, we were looking at the 0.618 Fibonacci. And to be completely honest with you, we basically nailed that, you know, give or take a few dollars. And that was basically on ETF week, and we did pull back. So we...
Now, real quick, don't we typically have a rally before the halving, which is in April, and then have some sort of sell-off, right? Buy the rumor, sell the news? Don't we usually have that? So... this could be what we're seeing, and who knows?
Haven't been able to get back up to that area just yet. So is that the area that we should be looking at? I mean, if you have a look over here, we did have what I believe potentially to have been maybe some form of a bear trap, which is why we weren't going bearish, but we were saying that we were optimistically cautious. Now, the fact that we have broken back into this uptrend does potentially put Bitcoin on track somewhere around $46,500. And, you know, would that be the area in which we should be getting incredibly short-term bullish? Well, again, you know, considering that we still have to break out of the top of this area, and we do have that 0.618, there are a lot of things to consider. If we come over here, the main point that I was trying to make is these are the weekly candles that we've been having ever since December, basically the week of December 4th. And, you know, you could see that, yes, we do have some wicks to the upside, some wicks to the downside, up, down. We have this big fake out right here. But ultimately, what we've been looking for is to get a weekly candle close somewhere out of this region. Now, obviously, looking at this candle right now, it does look quite nice. In fact, all we have to do is basically close around $43,900, let's just say $44,000, close a candle above that, and that would be essentially, you could say, you know, getting a little bit more bullish for Bitcoin, right? If we have a look at over here, You can also see something interesting that happened was we did have the Dixie breaking down as well as the S&P hitting new all-time highs. But again, the big thing that a lot of investors are paying attention to, especially now that we have these ETFs, is whether or not we are going to go full on risk on. You know, is the stock market going to have that breakdown from this area, or are we going to break straight through that? So that's basically what I want to talk about today, because as I've been saying, you know, we're looking at the TA, we're looking at the 4-year cycles. There's a lot of things that play out similarly, but at the same time, like I told you, that phone call that I had with a very good friend of mine who works for an OTC desk, they're saying this time is totally different, and you just can't even imagine the amount of demand that is going to be coming in from these ETFs.
If you guys don't know what he's talking about, the OTC guy that he's talking about said he's like, I don't know why people aren't backing up the truck and loading up now, because this time is so much different.
And the biggest question really right now is, are the tables about to turn for Bitcoin in a positive way, right? I mean, we are extremely bullish long-term for Bitcoin, but I got to tell you guys, there is something happening right now, and this is not even the ETF. This is on-chain data that we've been analyzing for years that I have never seen happen before. And it's both exciting and scary at the same time, because if this does happen, it could basically send the signal that all of these models, all of these 4-year cycles, all these different charts that everyone has been using has essentially been shattered, because what we have now is an unforeseen accumulation, right? Something that could potentially cause that domino effect, something that could cause something that we've never seen before, that you can't see in a chart, that you can't see in an indicator, that you can't even see on chain, right? And that is what could send us into that next paradigm, which is why when you hear these crazy calls about, you know, $1 million Bitcoin, $1.3 million Bitcoin, I mean, is that realistically possible? I want to dive into that today. I want to show you this crazy anomaly that we've never seen before, and I want to break down possibly some of the biggest news, even though it was something we were anticipating. Well, it just came out, and guys, I'm telling you, this could change the landscape forever. And again, you know, if you're still sitting on the sideline, if you're not really understanding what's happening, yes, we've been optimistically cautious. Yes, the charts are telling us that there is that potential to have the retrace, and we haven't fully gotten out of the woods just yet. But again, as I have been saying, I believe that if we see the dip to 35, or if we don't see the dip to 35, I believe that Bitcoin is in a bull market right now, and I believe that any of these dips that we see are dips for buying. So let's dive in, let's have a look, let's have a very, you know, neutral approach to things, but you cannot ignore the big picture in the background. So before we get into it, I do also just want to mention, guys, that if you are trading over on Apex,
all right, I'm gonna jump across this a little bit. One of the coins he was talking about pumped. That's pretty much all he says there.
This is the big news, guys. This is the big news. So we have digital
cocaine is one hell of a drug. Yes, Andrew Masad.
asset investments surging 708 million in inflows last week. That's $1.6 billion to date. I mean, these numbers may sound large to you, but this is extremely impressive. In fact, like Fred Krueger had pointed out, it will take less than 30 days, or it will have taken less than 30 days for the new 9, all of these different ETFs, to overtake MicroStrategy in Bitcoin holdings. You can see right here, here we have these ETFs, and this is MicroStrategy. So
that's crazy. That's crazy how fast it's actually gained. And again, like I said, Crypto Zombie, yes, he's super like enthusiastic, right, about Bitcoin and the price and all that stuff, but he actually comes at it from a like an unbiased approach in a sense. Obviously, he's a Bitcoin bull, but he really does show you like a lot of facts, and that's the reason I like to watch his channel.
I think what he's trying to say here is you can see how fast this could escalate, right? Because again, this is something that we've never actually seen before. He goes on to say that the ETFs are eating the world. They ate every other asset class, and they're having Bitcoin for dessert. But this is really what we've been waiting for. And officially, we have Fidelity offering or saying that they now have a 1% to 3% Bitcoin allocation in their all-in-one asset allocation funds. Now, this is over in Canada using spot Bitcoin ETFs. The conservative version is posted below. So the conservative is 1%. The extreme is 3%. So do you understand what this means? This literally means that now in their all-in-one, you know, where basically it's like their version, I suppose, of like the S&P, you know, they kind of diversify your portfolio for you. They're saying that the least risky is about 1%. But the big question is, how much does that really equate to? This is only one ETF. This isn't even all of the other ETFs that could eventually be split into other ETFs and given to their clients. And I mean, you know how this goes. You guys have, watched the movie The Big Short and all this other stuff. But I want to give another massive shout out to, British Hodl. He was probably one of the original guys talking about this. And
what? British Hodl's actually pretty good. I don't think he has very many subscribers. I mean, he might now, but he's a very smart guy, to be honest. If you guys haven't seen him, go check him out.
He breaks down the significance of just this simple number alone.
Now, what does that mean? That means that a 1% allocation across Fidelity's AUM of 4.5 trillion is a $45 billion purchase. Based on the Bank of America bull market multiple, that would add just that 1% allocation would add $252,000 onto the price of Bitcoin today. $252,000 onto the price of Bitcoin just from a 1% allocation from their most conservative portfolio. Now, here's the interesting part. What's interesting is that their portfolios, obviously, they have a conservative portfolio, a medium risk portfolio, a high risk portfolio, and it titrates up all the way to 3%. Right? And a 3% allocation on 4.5 trillion is $150 billion from one asset manager alone.
That's crazy.
Now, this allocation is based on its Canadian website at the moment, but I'm assuming that it's going to be the exact same for the US. So this is going to be a universal allocation coming across all of Fidelity's advisors for all of their clients. Now, this is how passive flows start, because you're going to have pension funds that get Fidelity to manage their money, and they're going to say, hey, yeah, we need a conservative portfolio, and Fidelity's recommended conservative portfolio is 1% Bitcoin, which means every single month those pension funds are putting that money in, and every single month 1% is being allocated to Bitcoin. So the passive,
and that's the biggest thing. It's 1% every single month. It's just reoccurring.
Flows are starting. This is not, again, I've been saying this for months. They're not here to screw around here. This is going to be a transition that's going to take some time, but you have got an opportunity here to get to your at least one Bitcoin, right? You've got to get to your one Bitcoin, and then whatever allocation you want to make, ideally based on the amount of wealth that you have.
And personally, if you ask me, the reason that you're seeing things like the stock market rally, and the reason that you're seeing, what was it? They said BlackRock was like they could recommend up to 80% allocation to Bitcoin. I mean, 80%, Jesus, we're working on 1 to 3% here. But you know what it is? It's when you have Powell coming out, at the FOMC, having these conversations over on 60 Minutes, and he's making comments like this.
The U.S. is on an unsustainable fiscal path. The U.S. federal government's on an unsustainable fiscal path, and that just means that the debt is growing faster than the economy.
I have the sense this worries you very much.
Over the long run, of course it does. We're borrowing from future generations. It's time for us to get back to putting a priority on fiscal sustainability. And sooner is better than later.
And that is the beauty, I suppose, of the internet, right? The internet has its downfalls. There's a lot of fake news. There's a lot of things that, maybe are not accurate. But at the same time, it's allowing that information to get passed very, very quickly. And what it's doing is it's allowing people to become more financially literate, to allow people to understand what is really happening to their currency, the secret tax of inflation. And it's allowing people to understand why Bitcoin is the hardest and safest money that there is, the most sound money. In fact, you have President Obama's former deputy chief basically saying that he's extremely bullish on Bitcoin.
This is crazy, actually.
We've got, crypto. Some people are loving it. Some people are hating it. They say its time has passed and all.
When was this, though? This was a while ago.
You on this, obviously a big, proponent here. Right. Where do you see it going?
Look, I think blockchain and crypto is one of the most exciting developments in our lifetime. I think when this is all over, we're going to be known for this generation for COVID and for reimagining our financial system. I'm incredibly bullish on this. I think it's good to have a crypto winter, getting rid of some of the BS projects that are out there.
Bitcoin itself?
Look, I'm bullish. I'm buying Bitcoin right now. I think, anything.
So in and around $20,000, can it ever get back to 60 some odd?
Oh, I'll bet you my Porsche it gets back to 60.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Life truly is good if you have that to bet.
But one of the things that we've been talking about on this channel, and this is why, yes, short-term things could get choppy. That's what markets do, right? Again, we said that probably most likely dips are for buying. That's what I believe. But when you look at the long-term implications and you understand, and this is something we were talking about months ago, is that unforeseen demand, that liquidity crisis, that liquidity crunch. Yes, right now, we have the grayscale Bitcoin ETF selling out, whatever, and that's what was kind of creating that sort of equilibrium, keeping that price in that area. But what happens when that demand, especially with the halving, coming in, and we did say that it was going to take these guys anywhere between 3 to 6 months to really start ramping up these allocations. This is when you see those supply crunches, and this is what Samson Mao was talking about over on Swan Bitcoin.
If you can see past the noise, then the signal is there, and the signal is you have a massive amount of accumulation on all the new 9. IBIT and Fidelity FBTC, they're raking in about 200 to 175 million per day on average on every trading day. And if you calculate that in BTC terms, that's about roughly almost 9,000 coins. And we're producing 900 a day. So you can see that it's not sustainable. And there is going to be a supply crunch because you have this massive amount of demand. But I think people don't see that because they're not seeing the price go up immediately. But, Bitcoin seems to surprise a lot of people. It moves very quickly, and it does go up very quickly too. In the past, we've seen 20x in 9 months. And I think with this new source of demand, you can easily 20x in weeks.
So 20x from these price levels in weeks, what kind of price levels are we thinking at? Like if you had to like put a number on that?
Well, 20x from, we're basically almost at 50K. So 20x 50K is $1 million, right?
Right.
And if we get to 100K, which I think is very possible, then it's just 10x to 1 million. So these movements are just normal Bitcoin doing business. So it's not crazy that we can see Omega candles of 100K and we can see Bitcoin go up to 1M.
You may also be familiar with the Veblen effect. Okay, so a Veblen good is basically something, I'm just going to explain this like to a 5-year-old. It's something that, it has perceived value, like a watch or diamonds or a luxury good or something like that. And because the value is going up, it actually makes it more, I guess you could say, appealing, right, to people who don't own it. And I know this seems backwards. We know, you want to buy the dips, but some of these people, they don't want to buy it until they see the price rising up. And then after they see that 100, 150%, 200% price, they're like, well,
in other words, FOMO.
I got to get one of these because now it's almost like a status symbol. And Samson Mao also broke down how, using
FOMO, fear of missing out, right? They don't want to be left behind.
This sort of Veblen effect theory, you could actually get to these crazy valuations much quicker than any chart, any indicator, any TA, or really any logical sense could make that seem possible.
By and large, the ETFs are marketed towards boomers, pension funds, institutions, even other companies to hold. And I think that has yet to really hit the market. Once we see the pension fund money trickling into the ETFs, and they take time to decide, right? But that simple act of pensions buying Bitcoin is going to trigger this massive supply shock and demand surge.
He's 100% on point because everything's not going to come in all at once as soon as these ETFs happen, right? Like you still need to have like your financial advisors putting allocations into this thing, right? Which is Bitcoin, or the ETF rather, for long-term gains, right?
And it's going to happen very rapidly because there's this sort of a weird thing. Maybe you can call it, maybe it is the Veblen effect, but as the thing becomes more valuable, the more people want it. But, the pension funds coming in is going to drive the price up, and that's going to signal to other pension funds. So I don't know if it's a Veblen signal or what, but there's got to be some new terminology that we create here.
It's going to be crazy.
As the Bitcoin price goes up, more and more people are going to start looking at this. And then you have this sort of threshold at which we cross gold market cap, which indicates to the world that this is the new gold. And I've called that the Veblen threshold, but that's sort of an anchoring point at which you don't want gold anymore. This is gold, and you need gold. And that puts us on the same footing as the demand for gold for nation states, because their treasuries are still accumulating gold. A lot of countries like China are rapidly trying to get gold and buy a lot of gold. So now they need to look at Bitcoin.
And just reiterating on the inflation and what Powell said, and people realizing that really putting your money in a savings account is a terrible idea, because let's say even if you do 5% on a 5-year CD or something like that, well, if inflation is at 3% like they tell us it is, or whatever, 4%, you're still not outpacing it. So when you have that long-term view, if you're just looking for a quick flip, like I talked to another guy the other day. We were talking about Bitcoin, and he's like, I just lost so much money on Bitcoin. And I'm thinking to myself, how did you lose money on Bitcoin? I mean, when you think about where Bitcoin is, there wasn't really a lot of time in Bitcoin's history that it actually traded above the level that it was today. So that would have...
Hey, you know what? Erted just made a good point too. He said, isn't today when the people who moved out of Grayscale can get back into the ETFs? I think it's either today or Monday. I think it's Monday, if I'm not mistaken, right? Because it was the 10th was the deadline. So today is just under the 30-day mark. So next week, it should be a pretty bullish week if that is true.
It meant that you bought somewhere between now and the all-time high, price came down, and you would have either had to never look back into it again, never learned or did any research, or you simply sold for a loss. But when you have that long-term approach to Bitcoin and you start using it mentally as a unit of account, that's when the perspective really starts to change. And that's exactly what Preston Pish was talking about over here on Luke Broyles' channel.
Yeah, you're definitely over 50% with Bitcoin on any 4-year period of time. You can pluck off the chart. You're exceeding 50% annualized.
Yeah.
Right. So, and like any Bitcoin I buy, I'm buying it to hold it in excess of 4 years. I can tell you that. And so, yeah, for me, I'm just like, I look at it like hyperinflation's happening. It's happening in Bitcoin terms. The rest of the world's going to come to that realization because this train's not letting up. Like my expectations for 2024 by the end of 2024 is, I think it's going to be nuts as to like what it does in terms of fiat currency.
So I want to get into the TA again for a little bit. Again, like as I said, even with this pump right now, I'm excited. I love seeing the price go up. You always have to remain at least somewhat optimistically cautious. You know, we don't want people, you know, selling the house, selling the kids, going all in on Bitcoin, even though that's kind of what I did. I didn't sell the kids though. I don't actually have
selling your kids. What the fuck?
Kids. But yeah, I mean, my house was in foreclosure. You guys know that whole story. Not recommended, not financial advice. Don't do what I did. I'm a very long-term believer in Bitcoin. But if we have a look at these cycles right here.
I didn't know that. He must have went all in on Bitcoin and just kind of stopped paying for shit, which is weird. I didn't hear that story, but if you guys know it, let me know in the chat.
This is kind of what I wanted to explain and why we could be entering a different paradigm. Now, this is from CryptoCon, broken down a lot nicer and cleaner than any charts really I show on the channel. And it's very obvious that Bitcoin has been following these sort of 4-year cycles. You could see you have these massive pumps, then you sort of have these, you know, maybe accumulation areas, the continuation, whatever, then you get the distribution into the bear markets, and it pretty much continues over and over again. In fact, here's even like a more simpler phase where you could see they have these waves, and you could see how this is the way that the cycles have been moving. So theoretically, if you're having a look at the way that the past Bitcoin cycles have been moving, then that suggests to us that we're not going to see a new all-time high until after the halving, and that we're going to see the all-time high sometime roughly, if you want to kind of use this chart, sometime around late November of 2025. But here's where it gets crazy. And this is data that we've been analyzing for quite a long time. Now, CryptoCon actually posted this over on Twitter, and this has to do with the total supply last active for 2 to 3 years. And this is something you can see on chain. Listen to what he had to say. So he says, while I don't subscribe to the idea that this time is different, there's something that we cannot ignore. Early in every cycle, the amount of active coins that have been held for 2 to 3 years rises exponentially. You can see that it repeats over and over again right here. Usually, a little over halfway through the cycle, this group declines rapidly. What we see after is a time frame for the cycle top, which has been between 1 year and 1 year and 6 months, right? That event has clearly occurred. So what he's trying to say is that we usually don't see this event occurring this early in the cycle, but it is occurring in the cycle. So does this suggest that we could see a cycle top this year? Now, obviously, cycle timing and past history would disagree with that. But now, this is begging an even bigger question. Now, there's 2 ways you could look at this. Are we going into I hate using this term, I feel like it's played out, but a Bitcoin super cycle where you just see, again, all the models are shattered and Bitcoin just continues indefinitely to the upside? Or on the flip side, are we going to see the reverse where you're not going to get that chance to really get that cycle top in 2025? What if we actually have one of the shortest cycles we ever seen because we have a massive blow off top due to the insane demand coming in from these guys? And maybe,
which is always a possibility, right? Because I mean, if things go up too quick, the faster they go up, the faster they fall, you know?
This sounds crazy to say out loud, but what if we get to 100 to 270,000 this year? I mean, again, that goes against a lot of the probabilities. It goes against all of the statistics. But with what we've seen and the demand and the 1 to 3% allocation from just Fidelity alone, which according to British HODL could push Bitcoin up $250,000 with just this one particular product, you have to ask yourself, if it does go up that fast, could we end up seeing that blow off top this year? What that would suggest is that time is in fact running out. And if you are still waiting for these dips, you know, maybe we're not going to get them. Maybe we're not going to get the 30, 35. Maybe we don't even retest the 38. Now, again, I remain, like I said, optimistically cautious, but I'm not going to be ignorant enough to be so, you know, thick-headed to only go off of the data when we have this new beast, we have this new animal, we have the ETFs, and we haven't even barely even seen the inflows come in yet. Even though we have actually seen quite a decent amount, but it's been doing a balancing act between the GBTC sell-off and the others having the inflows, right? So
Kyle Rosa said in the chat, if history repeats, end around 70K. To be honest, this time's so much different because there is so much more interest in it now that it's somewhat, you know, backed by this this ETF, right? It's there's only so much Bitcoin to go around. So once the scarcity really hits and the demand is, you know, is way up here and there's only so many coins to go around, it's gonna, you know what I mean? It's gonna go crazy. It really is.
Again, like I said, is this a sell the news event?
It.
I said it wasn't, and then we hit 49, 0.168, whatever Fibonacci, pulled back, and then all of a sudden it was a sell the news event. But again, that's short-term speculation. Long term, what the ETFs did was they weren't creating a sell the news event. They were creating an open the door event. Hey guys, we're open 24/7. Here we are. Come on in, right? The doors are open. This is something we've never seen before. So I just wanted to kind of let you guys know that.
See, and the difference here too is like people that are actually getting into these ETFs, right? The amount of money they're putting in, it's not like they can just retract that money at any moment like a normal Bitcoin trader, right? If you guys are doing this on Coinbase and you're self-custodying your crypto like you should, right? I would advise you to do so. You guys can trade 24/7, right? These ETFs, this market moves 20%. They're shutting that shit down for the whole day, and you ain't able to sell it, buy it, nothing for literally the entire rest of the day. So they're gonna get screwed at some point. But again, it's so different. This whole time around, so different. It's gonna force people to hold even through the big dips, right?
As much as I do enjoy looking at the traditional models, we can't ignore some of these inflows that we're seeing. And one other thing too, and I feel like this goes against a lot of what I might talk about, but again, you know, you have to be open-minded. A lot of these people, they don't look at TA, they don't look at charts. You know what they look at? They look at the fact that, you know, these guys are calling them up saying, yeah, you know, Bitcoin is up 150% this year, and there's a chance it might go up another 150%. That Veblen good type effect, like, wow, really? Okay, cool, Bob. You know what? Give me a 5% allocation, or if you're, you know, using Fidelity, I'll go into the risky 3% allocation, and I'm just gonna set it and forget it, and I'm gonna leave it there, you know, for 3 years or whatever it is. And they're not looking at the charts, they're not looking at the short-term price action, they are just gonna set it, forget it, and ultimately hope that their wealth increases, you know, in a year, in 5 years' time, right? So that is like the big thing that we have to look at. So if we did have to kind of hop in and have a look at what is going on the TA, what you could see is the daily actually came down here and got a little bit like short rejection here on the 89, but we are back above the daily on this EMA. So, you know, once you tend to break above that, it does tend to shift that momentum potentially, you know, back into the bullish territory. Now, again, you know, this does not mean that Bitcoin is going to $60,000 tomorrow, but it does mean that it could be that opportunity for the bulls to take over, at least in the short term.
So real quick, somebody in the chart, I mean in the chat asked this right here. So this is when the stock market will halt, right? Market-wide circuit breakers provide a cross-market trading halts. Whatever it says right here. So circuit breaker threshold 7% is level 1, 13% is level 2, and 20% is level 3. This is when they halt the stock markets or the ETFs or any type of trading inside these platforms. So Ted said we were 5.5% up on the day in Bitcoin already. So once it gets to 7%, they I don't know, they start halting it for a little bit, I guess. I don't know. There's like different hours. Like this is the rest of the day. I know 20% kills it for the rest of the day. This might halt it for like a couple hours or something, and then I don't know. Who knows? You guys let me know if you know in the chat.
Especially having this nice, you know, we didn't even actually retest the EMA on the weekly. If we come over here and have a look on the monthly, well, I mean, the monthly is incredibly bullish. Let's just be honest. If you're looking at Bitcoin in a monthly time frame, incredibly bullish. I mean, we even got this green dot down here. Now, what you would be looking for is, you could see right here, and I'm not saying that this is a trigger wave by any means. That's not what I'm saying to the downside. But you can see that if we do start to roll over here, that may mean that Bitcoin, you know, could go up to that 46K, maybe even 47K level, have a little bit of a retest. But if we get a trigger wave down here, especially...
Man, I'm being selfish. I want this shit to go back into the 20s so I could buy more. That's just me. But I know it's like, it's nice seeing it go up and we want it to go up forever. But like, man, buying the dips is probably the best way you're going to get generational wealth, my opinion.
On the monthly, then I would say that it is definitely off to the races, and the possibility of Bitcoin putting in some form of, you know, these crazy numbers like 200K by the end of this year could be possible. I mean, guys, it's only January, right? We did also get that test down to at least one of those levels. See, when we were breaking out of this blue zone, what I was worried about was we had 7 straight candles to the upside. 7 or 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 candles to the upside. And then we did have that consolidation, and I said we needed a retest. Well, we did get that retest down to the 38.3 area, right? And that was exactly what we had been sort of anticipating. Again, short term right here, you know, if you're just looking on these very lower time frames, you do have some resistance here, because not only do you have, you know, obviously, you can see right here, we have this heart line, right here, but then we also have, you know, this area of interest right here, sort of coinciding, you know, right here. So you
real quick, Mr. Crypto KJ, thank you very much for this. So in the chat, Crypto KJ just put a link to Twitter. It says Ethereum developers have announced that the Denkin upgrade, is that how you say that, will go live on Wednesday, March 13th. Will make transaction fees on Ethereum's layer 2s up to 100 times lower while making them up to 100 times faster. That's amazing, actually, because the fees are freaking disgusting on Ethereum. Anyways,
you can kind of see that, you know, even if Bitcoin does continue to sort of bounce around this area right here, there's going to be a lot of overhead resistance right around that sort of $47,000 area. And this weekly candle, it still has until the end of the week to close. So what I'm basically saying is if we can close above this area, basically above around $44,000, that does not mean that we're going to 60K overnight, but it does mean that the bulls may be attempting to take this back into control, and that, you know, this was the opportunity. It was this area.
You know what? If that does happen for Ethereum, though, lower the gas fees and the ETF, I think Ethereum's going to go 5 figures for sure. The gas fees are the biggest thing that really knocked down Ethereum, in my opinion.
Right here, when we had that wick down, right? Very, very confusing market, very, very volatile market. But that's just the name of the game. So again, guys, you know, I could show you these charts. We can go over all of this. You know, realistically, right now, the pump is great. It's awesome. We have had 3 consecutive green candles, which is nice. But, you know, again, we have the 0.618 fib at around that 48.6, 48.7 level. That was the major rejection, and we had been building up to that area for literally the entire year of 2023. We got that area perfectly, and that was the area in which price did start to pull back. So now it's you basically play that waiting game. You see if the technicals are going to continue to play out the way that they have been playing out for basically the past 15 years, or we see if this time it's different. And having a look at what CryptoCon pointed out, looking at the fact that Fidelity is already offering that 1 to 3%, and that's only one,
really
which
deal.
could push the price up 240,000 with just one product alone. The only thing I can say on these videos, guys, is I continue to make these throughout the years. We try to keep a level head, stay as neutral as possible, and for the most part, we tend to be, you know, for the most part, we tend to be on the right side of things. You know, occasionally, you know, back in my earlier days, I'll be the first to admit, I sometimes got overly bullish, right? But maybe this is the time in which you should be getting overly bullish. Again, you know, don't freak out. Don't
each his own. Don't take any advice from YouTubers, but my opinion, I love Crypto Zombies channel, so shout out to him. Go check him out. Full link is in the description. We're going to get on to Shillcoin Daily over here. An historic crypto breakout about to occur. Let's see what he's got to say. I know I like to catch myself up. I'm sorry you guys got to watch this with me, but we're doing it.
Bitcoin's up as the price nears 45.5 thousand.
Now we know it's over 47.5.
Altcoins tease historic breakout. BlackRock continues to increase their Bitcoin holdings to now more than 3.37 billion, or more than 78,000 Bitcoin. The mainstream media has gone silent, but BlackRock continues to buy. Investors are locking up their Ethereum, with over a quarter of Ethereum's ETH supply now staked on the network for the very first time, meaning as this gets locked up, the coins are off the market, including ETH staked in the staking queue. More than 25% of the total supply is staked across 942,000 plus validator stakes. Most coins have at least 50%, if not more sometimes, of their supply staked. ETH has only had this option for about a year, a little more, with the merge upgrade, so would expect this number to increase. And with confirmation of Ethereum's next upgrade,
there we go.
This is why you subscribe. Ethereum developers target March 13th for milestone Dankin upgrade on mainnet.
That's literally what I just showed you guys in that Twitter post.
Timing of the long-awaited Dankin upgrade with its much-touted proto-dank sharding feature was announced Thursday on a call with top developers for the ETH blockchain. So a lot of technical words here.
Again, regardless of how you feel about Ethereum, at the end of the day, it's top 2 coin. It's not going to go anywhere. They're going to make an ETF out of it for sure. It's inevitable, right? The lower the gas fees, the more people are going to use it. It's my opinion.
Break this down. And again, the news today is March 13th confirmation.
If it comes to fruition or not.
Biggest upgrade change since April 2023. The Dankin upgrade is primarily known for its proto-dank sharding feature, which is supposed to reduce costs for transactions on auxiliary L2 networks built atop Ethereum by providing a dedicated space for data storage. So Ethereum's thriving L2 ecosystem, this will greatly benefit. And the decision was communicated during the all-core developers consensus layer call 127, just one day after the upgrade was successfully added to the Holsky testnet, the third of 3 testnets without any hiccups. So all 3 dress rehearsals were a success. We're now on to opening night. And it's great to see years worth of effort finally being scheduled for Ethereum mainnet, says one of the main engineers. This is an upgrade that ETH founder Vitalik has been talking about for years.
And for a non-technical audience, how would you explain the reasoning behind the pivot from sharding on the roadmap to dank sharding?
Yeah, so sharding on the in the original vision basically said that you would have the layer 1 protocol would handle scalability of data and scalability of execution, right? It would handle scalability of everything.
You guys think he's an alien? 1 in the chat if you do, 2 in the chat if you don't.
The rollup plus dank sharding approach basically says the L1 still handles scalability of data, and scalability of data is just a much easier piece to handle than scalability of execution. And then layer 2s can handle scalability of execution.
And Dankin will enable a new type of transaction class called proto-dank sharding, which will help reduce the costs of transactions for rollups with a new category of data storage. And watch today's whole video. We're going to talk smaller altcoins, but major news for XRP. The XRP ledger automated market maker just went through a little upgrade.
I think I can speak for everybody at Ripple when I say we would like the XRP ledger to evolve as quickly as possible and to add as many features as quickly as possible, but we would also like everything to be as safe as possible. We don't want to take any risks, right?
And again, the automated market maker is like a Uniswap. It's going to allow DeFi on the XRP ledger. And this upgrade, this fix, was an optimization.
I'm proud of the community. I know that like from the outside, sometimes, there's a saying that like people who like sausages and respect the law shouldn't watch either one being made. And we do this in public, like it's on Twitter, so everybody gets to watch the sausage being made. And sometimes it's not super pretty. Right. And sometimes I have to, sometimes I'm like, oh, I wish that didn't happen. But I mean, overall, the process is pretty good. Like everybody got to express their views, and things didn't always go the way that I thought was right. And that's good. I mean, imagine if the community always did whatever I said I wanted, or imagine if we had a secret cabal that just like decided on everything privately and then announced our results to the public. Like that would be way worse. And would I like it to be less acrimonious and more like absolute polite and respectful? Maybe, but then there would be no passion. So, I just want to say, even though it has been contentious at times, and even though I know people have tempers have gotten a little
I don't know why he started talking about making sausages. I have no idea.
It in times, and I think, but everybody got to see everything.
So how this affects you is just understand that we're watching the XRP ledger be upgraded in real time.
And so I just want to say that I'm just proud of the way it happened, and I honestly can't really think of a better way overall. And I just hope that there isn't real acrimony. I hope that there are.
What happened to this guy? I didn't even realize this is blocked. What happened to Scam Dad? He's over there shilling shit.
People are like, oh, those guys, man, why do they keep we're doing what you're doing. We're advocating for what we believe and what we're passionate about. And there is a tension. I think I can speak for everybody at Ripple when I say we would like the XRP ledger to evolve. We don't have any secret agenda about any particular amendment. We don't have some secret strategy in mind for these amendments other than that we think they'll add value and we think they're good and we think people will find them beneficial and we like better things. We like good things like everybody does.
Now altcoin Cardano is making news, but I do just have to share with you, as this went largely unnoticed by the mainstream media, that the U.S. Treasury Secretary, Janet Yellen, has just asked Congress to regulate crypto assets that are not securities. Essentially, pass crypto regulations, which include stablecoins and spot markets for crypto.
The Council is focused on digital assets and related risks, such as from runs on crypto asset platforms and stablecoins, potential vulnerabilities from crypto asset price volatility, and the proliferation of platforms acting outside of or out of compliance with applicable laws and regulations. Applicable rules and regulations should be enforced, and Congress should pass legislation to provide for the regulation of stablecoins and of the spot market for crypto assets that are not securities. We look forward to continuing to engage with Congress on this.
Now, what about Cardano?
Oh, snap.
Why is ADA price up this week?
She has no idea what crypto is.
Looking back, this week, Cardano experienced a notable rise, rising over 8.5% to reach about 53.5 cents. With the bulk of this week's ADA appreciation, approximately 6.5%, occurred in the last 24 hours, meaning Cardano is outpacing an already bullish market, with one reason being the increased on-chain activity, meaning the total value locked, TVL, across the Cardano ecosystem has grown from about 660 million ADA to now 720 million ADA in just the last 24 hours, and with the rising TVL suggesting more assets being locked in Cardano smart contracts, suggesting growing adoption, we're seeing the fundamentals get better. We're seeing the daily active addresses and daily transaction counts also get better, and also major news for Avalanche blockchain and Biconomy blockchain. We will tokenize trillions worth of real-world assets and onboard most major institutions on-chain in the next 5 years, and they will all need account abstraction. So Avalanche is that L1 blockchain, like a Solana, like an ETH, like a Cardano, and Biconomy is sort of the infrastructure. It allows account abstraction. So just to give you the highlights, basically how Biconomy is benefiting Avalanche, it simplifies client and user onboarding. It allows customizable account maintenance, gas abstraction, which is huge, makes the user experience so much better, and of course, added security. And I was actually going to stop sharing with you clips.
Good, please stop. All right, we're going to move on because, yeah, that's it. That's it. He's going to shill something. All right, guys, look at this. 47,396 Bitcoin. Just kind of recapping some things. If you guys have any questions, we could talk about whatever. Feel free. We have Ethereum 2508. Looking amazing. Kaspa still holding 13.5 cents just about. Look at the lithium. Let's see how it's doing. Let's refresh this. Still holding almost its all-time high. It just hit $2.70. Absolutely insane. Shout out to the lithium team for killing it. And Mr. Backwards Miner actually pointed out something to me. Again, I mentioned this at the beginning of the stream. July 3rd, 2023 was the all-time low on lithium. It is up 48,238%. That is insane. That is insane. The pull on that, crazy. Absolutely crazy. How's everything else looking? Let's look at Honey. How's Honey doing? Hivemapper. Again, if you guys are interested, go check out the their Discord. They will tell you when the deliveries are. 16 cents. It's down a little bit. Oh, what am I doing? Didn't mean to hit that. It's down a little bit from when it a couple weeks ago, rather. But it's still holding pretty good, right? Think it's making a flag? Who knows? No, definitely not a flag. Maybe an upwards channel. Let's see. Hopefully. That would be nice. That would be nice. This thing continues. How's Neoxa doing? You guys know I'm swapping into Neoxa right now. Good. Look at this. Neoxa price is down, right? This is awesome. So I am mining on my GPUs, Lithium, Algorithm, Blake 3, over to unMineable, getting paid out in Neoxa to get my master node. And I'm getting like over, well, with all of my stuff, GPUs, ASICs, everything I got pointed over there, I'm getting over 20,000 per day. So that's amazing, right? 5 days, get 100,000. So it should be like 25 days, under a month. I should be able to get 500,000 to add it to my previous 500 to get a master node. Never game with Smokey Dan. Let's see. Dan R 605 610. What are you saying? Dan R. What is Dan R saying? What is he asking? Let's see. Shaker to 2010 Pandora 16x'd in 4 days. ERC 404 tokens are on fire. Might be the next runners. What is Pandora? Actually, I've heard of that. I don't know why. Let me see. Pandora, this one? Holy shit. Why is this coin so expensive? What is happening? 25,561. Ranked 214. How is this coin this expensive and it's ranked that high? What is happening? Market cap? 256 million? Weird. Let's go to the max chart on this thing. What is this? What is this? Did it just come on here? I'd have to check out coin market cap for this. All-time low 1,000, and now it's all-time highs 32,000 about 5 hours ago. What? Wow, talk about volatile. What is this? Does anybody know what this project is? Anybody? The supply. Gold age of Bitcoin. Only 10,000 max coins. Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense then. That makes sense. Oh, duh. I wasn't even looking. Holy shit. Wow. Yeah, but what's the project about? What is it? Let's look. Pandora is a collection of 10,000 avatars or replicants bound to the first token built on the EOC 404, the experimental token standard enabling persistence, liquidity, and semi-fungibility for Ethereum NFTs. Our website, you lost me at NFTs. Just buy Bitcoin. My opinion. All right. Anyways, guys, I gotta get back to daddy duty. You guys know the deal. I appreciate you all. You're all fantastic. Thank you for hanging out with me today on the Daily Grind. What we're going to do is jump over to Miss Randy Hipper's stream. She's going to be streaming in about 15 minutes, 20 minutes or so. So guys, go over there, give her a like if you wouldn't mind. That would be amazing. I'll be back bright and early tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I try to start a little bit later on Saturdays, but you guys have a great, happy Friday. You know it is Friday, so I'm going to leave you with this. I will catch you guys on the next one, and peace out.
I wanna hold until I can't no more.
Eat shit, Gary. You are a loser. You always lose.
Happy Friday. Enjoy the rest of your day. Get over to Miss Randy Hipper's stream. We'll see you there. Peace, peace.
You guys don't get to 100 likes. I'm going to show you my cleavage.
Please, Max, don't do that. Okay, bye.